Hello, my dear viewers. I am Virajini Samandra from Aryabhatta Careers Academy, presenting before you my own composed poem, Exploring of Life. So let us see. Life is not a journey of live to eat till end. Life is not journey of live to eat till end as parasites. Life is not a doll or toy to twist the key to dance up to twisted spring. Life is not a journey of live to eat till end as parasites. Life is not a doll or toy twist the key to dance up to twisted spring. Life is not a use and a throw item to use up to your motive. Live uselessly. Life is not a use and a throw item to use up to your motive and live uselessly. Life is not a bed of roses. Life is not a bed of roses to enjoy without any efforts. Life is not as a street Romeo. Life is not as a street Romeo to hunt anyone. Life is not a house of playing cards. Life is not a house of playing cards to scatter in a little blow of wind. Life is not as colorless. Life is not as colorless as air, where the survival of life is too difficult. Life is not as colorless air, where survival is difficult. Life is not hard as life is not as hard as granite to handle to make it liable. Life is not as hard as granite to handle to make it liable. Life is not a solitary span to journey in a isolating condition. Life is not a solitary span to journey in isolating condition. Life is not a haphazard mood to live. Life is not as a haphazard mood to live it any duration lacking destination. Life is not as fickling mood. Life is not as fickling mood jumping from one track to another. Life is not a conditional love. Life is not a conditional love where the reality of love is meaningless, haunted by hypocrisy. Life is not a conditional love where the reality of love is meaningless, haunted by hypocrisy. Life is not an unspoken love. Life is not an unspoken love which brings you years together, unexpressed regret. Life is not an unco- life is not an unspoken love which brings you years together, unexpressed regret. Life is not a series of rejections. Life is not a series of rejections which restrict your success. Life is not hot sigh. Life is not hot sigh. Life is not hot sigh of barren land where no greenery of hope is restricted. Life is not hot sigh of a barren land where no greenery of hope is restricted. Life is not an unflushed smile. Life is not an unflushed smile which restrict your vibrating lips and pinky glow of your cheeks. Life, life is not an undropped tear. Life is not an undropped tear to be controlled, missing its shedding value. Life is not an undropped tear to be controlled, missing its shedding value. Life is not an usurper. Life is not an usurper where the survival of mighties are only possible. Life is not an usurper where the survival of mighties are only possible. Life is not an uncontested war. Life is not an uncontested war or battle or election where no opponent is treated you to bring the real victory. Life is not an uncontested war or battle or election where no opponent is trust you to bring a real victory. Life is not based on hypocrisy. Life is not based on hypocrisy where the dignity of blood relations and mankind are slaughtered socially, morally, and ethically. Life is not based on hypocrisy where the dignity of our blood relations, mankind are slaughtered socially, morally, and ethically. Life is not a baseless exam. Life is not a baseless exam seized by antisocial elements where the questions are not understood. Life is not an life is not an unseen beauty. Life is not an unseen beauty veiled under Parda system of lunatics. Life is not an unseen beauty veiled under Parda system of lunatics. Life is not unseen flowers shedding unnoticedly without any praise. Life is not only life is not unseen flowers shedding unnoticedly without any praise. Life is not an aimless drive. Life is not an aimless drive as a big marathon. Life is not an aimless drive as big marathon. Life is not an indisciplined barbaric. Life is not. Life is not undisciplined, barbaric conduct to destroy the entire mankind. Life is not undisciplined, barbaric conduct to destroy the entire mankind. Life is not an accomplishment situation where every morality, nobility, ethics, humanity, dignity, love, and mankind are surrendered, seized by slaughtering their worth. Life is not an accomplishment situation where every morality, nobility, ethics, humanity, dignity, love, and mankind are surrendered, seized by slaughtering their worth. Then, what the life is? Then, what the life is? Can you explore? Can you explore it? Thanks, Jai Hind.